Oh, yeah, fish on, baby.
Well, g'day folks, and welcome back to another video. In this video, it's a bit of a serious one. I just want to go over a few things safety-wise. I had a bit of an incident last week at a remote estuary that I fished quite a bit, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about that story. It's not to get pats on the back or anything. If anyone knows me, then you would know that that's not who I am. But it just reiterates why we need to do certain things while we're on the water, so as we can come back and see our families and make sure that we're safe and everyone else on our vessels are safe as well. So I was fishing in East Gippsland last week, and I had a great morning. You've probably seen the latest video. I decided to head out to the main lake area, and I was just coming out into the main lake, and the wind was a southerly, so the wind was a bit too much for me. I'm a lure fisherman, as you know, so I went through a couple of channel markers, and I decided, nah, I'm going to turn around and go back upriver. So as I've turned around, I've noticed a fiberglass boat in the shallows. It was on a bit of an angle, the bow was sticking up. I'm like, that's a bit strange. And as I've started to head over, I've heard a yell, and I've turned the motor off, hadn't taken a look around, heard another yell, thought maybe it's coming from the boat. Checked around again, and I've seen a man hanging onto a channel marker in a few meters of water depth. So all I could see was his head. The tide was running out one way, and the southerly breeze was pushing waves over the other way. There was whitecaps out in the middle of the lake. I had to do something, so we've gone over, put the electric in, approached him slowly, tried to calm him down, tell him, not to panic and things like that, don't grab out, don't let go, things like that. No one else around, so I've fished this estuary many times, especially this time of year, winter, where I've seen no one in 2 days. So, it's just that decision, going out to the lake, and then this has happened. So I've gone over to the male. There's an fairly elderly gentleman, and obviously tried to relax him and settle him. He was exhausted. His words to me were, I'm pretty much effed. He's holding onto the beacon with a towel that he's got wrapped around his arm, and then I've grabbed his other arm. I'm on spot lock, and then I've realised that I can't actually lift him because he's 86 kilos, he said, and he's wearing a lot of wet clothes. Later on, I found out he'd been in the water for over an hour. So anyway, I'm yelling, waving my arms, signalling for help, and luckily 2 blokes in a tinny that found out they lived pretty close by came out, and they went over to the fiberglass boat, because there was another man on board hanging onto the side of the fiberglass boat. So I'm pretty much holding old mate for probably 15 minutes, and then finally one of those blokes came over in their tinny, told him what was happening, need your help, chucked a rope, got him onto my boat. I've lifted him up onto the deck, and then met the other bloke in the fiberglass boat at the boat ramp where we'd already called for ambulance and things like that. Got him out of wet clothes. The other male had pretty serious life-threatening injuries, busted hip, busted leg, and a real severe wound to his abdomen area. Police came, ambulance came, flown to hospital, the severe injured male, and just assessed. So we spend a lot of time on the water, and we don't really, think that much about safety. So it got me thinking and looking at my boat as to, life jackets and fire extinguishers, flares, things like that. So I just want to run over. I've got a life jacket here that I haven't checked for about 12 months. So I'm just going to go through how I check my life jacket and the things that I do. And I'm also going to run over a EPIRB, personal little EPIRB that I've bought, thinking about the places I go where there's no phone signal. So I'm going to run over that with you, and hopefully it prevents things like this happening, because the bloke that was hanging onto the beacon wasn't wearing a life jacket. And also the safety lanyard that you attach to your wrist or somewhere on your body. So if you go overboard or you get shunted forward, it shuts your motor off. So if you get thrown out, your boat doesn't keep going. You imagine being in the middle of the ocean, you're thrown out your boat because you've hit something, and then your boat just disappears off, or worse, steering's locked and it comes round and it's circling and going to hit you. So just little things that I want to go over that it scared me. This situation scared me. I'm glad I was actually there, and but yeah, it really got me thinking on safety and stuff, and basic checks that we can do to make sure that we go home to our family and everyone else on our boat is safe, and other users on the water are safe from us on the water. So yeah, I'm just going to run through life jackets and a couple of other things. So please keep watching. This could actually save your life. We don't think we're going to be ever involved in these incidents or have to help in these incidents, but as I found out, you do. So please watch, and if you learn anything from it, that's awesome. All right, so this on the table here is a PDF, a personal flotation device, life jacket. So you have to inflate it yourself by pulling the yellow cord there, the yellow button with the cord. And I just purchased this one from BCF. It's the Marlin brand. And yeah, this is the one that I'm going to show you how I work on and check as well. So you can pick them up. This was on special, $50, normally about $100. So they're fairly cheap for a lot of safety that it gives you on the water. All right, so now I'm just going to run through how we check older PFD. So we pretty much have to open it up so as we can have a good inspection of it. So a lot of the life jackets are Velcro. So we're going to open it all up and fold it out. So the first thing I'm going to inspect is the gas cylinder. So you can see here, you got the green. That means that it's active. So I'm checking the gas cylinder. Now that's got a lot of rust on it here. Okay, so very, very rusted, and you can see that there's rust on the inside of the life jacket, which is probably going to end up corroding this life jacket. So unscrew this so as I can inspect it without accidentally setting it off. Now look, you can see how bad that is. You know, that's where we get holes, you know, got to check it. These on the side here, so they have a weight and an expiry date on them. I can't really see it because it's rusted, but there's another one there. So you can see it's got all the details on it. It'd be better if it was in black or something like that. So there's the date. There's the weight, 33 grams. So here's a new one that I've just bought. This is how they come in the packaging. So this was from BCF. So it's a rearm kit for your inflatable life jacket. Make sure you know your model of your life jacket, because they come in all different sizes and shapes and weights. So make sure you know and you fit the one that's meant for your life jacket. That's how they come. So this is a new one that's out the packet. As you can see, it's a bit hard to see there, but it's got the date and the weight. So if you remove your old one and it's in good condition, not like this one, then you can check the weight just on whatever scales you've got. And if it's at that weight, if it's lost anything, throw it away, get a new one. They're $25. And if they're at the right weight, you can refit them. Second one is a gas cylinder, and that's rubbish, so I'm not going to put that in. Next thing we do is I check the fitting of the gas cylinder, so make sure the arm works. If you pull your cord, that's what's going to release like that. And now it's flicked red. And just check in here, you got rubber seals, so just make sure that the rubber seals are in place. That's obviously that your cylinder isn't going to leak. Next thing we do is this is your self-inflator. So if you pull your jacket and it doesn't go off, your gas cylinder's empty, you can flip that cap off and manually see, when I've even done that, I had to do a really heavy blow just to get that popped. So that works, right? If you've got a zip here, open your zips, and you should have a whistle. There's your whistle. Whoa, that works. Ow. Okay, and finally, so you're pretty much checking, you know, this has got like a rubber seal around it. Make sure that that's not corroded or peeling up or anything like that. And then we're going to take a look at the yellow, the actual bladder of the life jacket. So, you know, you got things like this where it's sewed onto the actual life jacket. So that looks in good condition. It even tells you there, so it's 33 grams, so that's what the canister should weigh, and CO2 is what's in it. This little box here, so service record, so you can write on here the date when you self-serviced it, and if there's any information, you know, service today's date, changed gas cylinder. But I'm looking at this one. So the rear of the bladder is looking in good condition. You know, checking all these where it attaches. But the front, you can see here, it's got mold, so probably a little bit of moisture's got in there. A little bit of mold here. So for me, and probably for you as well, mold plus a horrible rusted out cylinder, CO2 cylinder, I am going to replace this whole jacket. I'm not even going to bother testing it. The last thing that we do, so you also check your reflective tape, clips, webbings, fittings, you know, that's still in good nick. Then you inflate your life jacket, so use your breather tube. So you can also use a bike pump. All right, whew, light-headed. So that's inflated. So if I was happy with the overall condition of this life jacket, I'd say, you know, I've obviously got to replace that. So I would put in a brand new CO2 cylinder. If I didn't have any mold on this life jacket, I would blow it up. Then you got to leave it 24 hours. So leave it in a dry place, somewhere where it's not going to get damaged, spare room, whatever, and leave that 24 hours, go back to it. If it's in this condition when you inspect it again, perfect, that's good to go, as long as it doesn't have mold and stuff on it. If it's gone down, you know, you've lost 20%, 40% of your inflation, throw it away. It's, you know, we think nothing's going to happen, but you could be out there, if you fish deep sea, you know, you could be out there for 24 hours, and if you know this life jacket's going to go down, gradually, that's a timer on your life pretty much. So $100, throw it away, grab yourself a new one. So yep, I'm happy. I've had this one for 2 years now. I do a lot of fishing and it's stored in the boat, so I'm actually going to replace that one. Alright, so onto the next life jacket. So that first one for me wasn't quite up to scratch with the bit of mould on it, bit of rust from the bottle, and obviously the rusty OC2, the CO2 tube. Somebody else might think they could just wipe the mould off and replace the tube. That's probably fine, but for me, I just think about, you know, I got a new one for $50. Worst I'm gonna have to pay is $100. I had that jacket for it was probably 3 years, 2 or 3 years, and it's seen a lot of action. So I've decided to replace it, but that's entirely up to you. Also wanted to mention with your life jackets, everyone's different. Even this older style Marlin compared to the new one, which is over there on the table, is slightly different. So I'll show you what's different on those a little bit later when I've done this one. So this jacket is one that's probably about 8 months old, and I actually set it off accidentally, taking it out of the locker, and the cord got caught, and of course I pulled it out and bang, it's gone up. So this is how it is. It's obviously was fully inflated. So to deflate them, all you have to do is take the cap off the red tube and use the knob on the end there just to push in, hold it in, and then you have to squeeze gently just to get all the air out. Make sure you get all the air out, otherwise you won't be able to pack the jacket up correctly. So I've inspected this jacket like the other jacket, checked the whistle. Obviously this is the main thing here. So this little green clip fits over here, like so. When this lever gets pulled down, so the lever sits up here, gets pulled down, releases a firing pin, pops the green clip off, which releases this CO2 gas into the bladder of the life jacket, which then expands, of course. So what we've got to do now is re-gas this life jacket with a new cylinder and get all this ready. So I've done the other inspection, just like the green jacket, tested the breather tube, checked its integrity with mould and stitches and seams, and the whistle, and it's all fine. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I re-gas this up and then pack it up. So the first thing we need is a new CO2 cylinder, which is in date and at the right weight. Unscrew the old cylinder. You won't be able to see it probably, but this is a must check. So this arm, so that's what activates, so that's the position that it's in with the green clip before you pull the cord to let your life jacket go off. As you pull this down, a little pin appears through the center, so check those little rubbers in there that they haven't fired out, and then just make sure that that pin, when you're half engaged, sticks out, because that's what pierces your CO2 cylinder. So that one's working. So reposition that, grab your new cylinder, make sure you don't cross thread it. Do it up tight, but don't over tighten it. So do it up tight, but don't over tighten that thing. Then, so make sure we double check. Tight, levers up. You'll hear it clip. So that's it. So that's pretty much, we know that that's ready engaged, and we've got a new cylinder in there, and we're good to go. So the last thing we do before we pack up is this service record. So it's the 13th of the 9th, 24, and I'll just put gas. So that's just lets me know that this is just a whiteboard marker, that I've replaced the gas. So put the clip back on. If it's broke, replace it with another one. So now we're going to pack this life jacket back up. There will be specific folding instructions, so check with your manufacturer. This one's just pretty much you fold both sides underneath. And seal that bottom up first. Make sure your toggle's sticking out the bottom. And then I just work my way along, folding flat, roughly the same width as this outer layer. When you get to the neck part, that's where it can be a bit more finicky. It seems to be a little bit more bladder thickness, but take your time, fold it the same shape as your outer sleeve. Your most important is the toggle sticking at the end, so you can pull it. And that is that. That's your repacked, regassed, serviced life jacket. Alright, so I just want to touch on briefly the other things that I found out from the incident that happened, the accident, was the safety lanyard that you cut off switch from your outboard to your wrist. Was not used either. So I've put a photo of what it is now. So it's the little red cord that goes from a kill switch on your motor to your wrist, or you can clip it to your jacket or somewhere sturdy. If you have an accident, say you hit a log and you jump forward, throws you forward off the seat, pulls the cord, cuts the motor. If you hit something, swings the boat around, you get thrown out. Your boat's not going to go off into the distance, or worse, keep coming around and hitting you. So this is designed safety. Not many people wear them. I haven't wore them sometimes. Personally, you forget, or you're in a rush or something. I won't do that again. After seeing this incident and how scared these people were and how scared I actually was for them, just put it on. Like, it takes 2 seconds. You can create a loop already. You just put your hand in the loop and off you go. Next thing, this is a recent purchase for me, and it's already given me a peace of mind, and I haven't even been anywhere yet. So this is a Personal Locator Beacon. So it's pretty much a personal EPIRB. So it runs through satellite systems. It runs worldwide. You can use it for boating, hiking, fishing, running. If you do anywhere that you're in the middle of nowhere and you want people to be able to find you if there's an emergency, this is what it's for. It cost me $400 with a case. That's the case. So you can actually tell the size of this thing, and that's actually in the case. So this is the latest GME. So Australian company. This is the pouch. So these float. Open it up like that, and it's got a little strap. You just pull it out. That's what it looks like. So what you do is a little red switch on the top. flick that around. So that's your aerial there, that's your antennae. And then you can see there's a green and a red button. So the green button is so you can do all your tests to make sure it's still working. These have a 7-year guaranteed battery life, lithium, the latest lithium battery. So you don't have to change anything, you don't have to do anything. The only thing that I had to do, so it comes with this bit of paperwork. So register with GME, and it comes with this paperwork as well. So register online. To register your beacon, you just have to put your name and stuff in. So if you use this, it gets picked up by satellites, gets sent out to emergency services, and help will come, help will find you. This goes off for about an hour. So it will keep signaling for an hour. It's got LED lights on it. So if you wear it on a life jacket or whatever, you can hold it up. It's got flashing LED lights, and it brings emergency services to within 100 meters of where you are anywhere in the world. So for $400, if you're, like, I'll be walking a bank in the middle of nowhere, trout fishing or bass fishing, anything that can happen. You get bit by a snake, you can break a leg, you can have a medical episode, hit this, and this will work. This will bring help to you. I would fold it up, push that back down. This is like a bandy kind of aerial. And you flick it back down. That's it. So when you register, this one's easy. It's pretty much 2 minutes. This one, there's just a bit of information, what beacon you have, your details and things like that, but probably 5 minutes. That's all you have to do. You can take that anywhere you go. If you go fishing, if you go hiking, if you go forward driving, camping in remote areas, this is all you have to do. Sends out your stress emergency, and the troops will come and know exactly where you are. I really wish that a life jacket company would make a life jacket that's light and comfortable to wear, that's got a mini, even if you could make one smaller than this, personal locator device, EPIRB, that's inbuilt into the life jacket, and also like a mini flare. So, you know, us fishermen, we're on the water, we're walking around our decks. If you fall overboard, say it's winter, it's cold, you're wearing snow jackets, you get wet, I'm overweight, it's heavy, you struggle to get back on your boat. You can have everything. You're wearing your life jacket, you've got your EPIRB, you've got your flare. So if you see another boat, bang your flare out, up it goes, smoke's coming out, somebody can see you. You don't have to do your EPIRB. If you're in the middle of nowhere, that happens, you can't get back in your boat, you can set your EPIRB off. It's all here in your jacket. You know, there's no point being in the water, you can't get to your deck to get your EPIRB or your flares out of a box that's packed in, you know, what's the point of that? So somebody make one, would be great. Also, just jog my mind, just when you fall overboard, I've got like a Tabs bull shark, so it's got a little step on the back, but I've been in, you know, you're going for a swim, even to lift your leg up to get your foot on that step, it's too far, it's probably 3 foot. I've got now a rope, so I've attached a rope to my grab rail, handrail, both ends of the rope. So this has formed a loop, so I can throw the rope in the water, I can put my foot in the loop of line, so you've got the loop of line coming down into the water, you can put your foot on the loop of line, assist you to get back in the boat or assist you to get onto that step so as you can get back in. It's just another little safety thing that has worked. It works for me, test it out, you know, jump in the water, see if you can get back in your boat, do it in summer when you're wearing minimal clothes, and then think about adding 20 kilos of clothes when they're wet, and then think if you're going to be able to do that again. All right, so it's a bit of a, not a fun video, but hopefully it's been educational, and hopefully you get something from it and do what I did and learn. You know, it's often that we don't learn until we actually see trauma and we have to deal with something, and for the sake of a bit of money, you know, this thing lasts 7 years, $400, what's that, $54 or something per year, you know, for safety. And anyone can use that, you know. You got kids going off in the bush, you know, going on a camp, they're 18, they just got the driver's license. There you go, take this with you. It's peace of mind, it's common sense. Sometimes we all forget about these things. We just want to get out fishing, boating, whatever we're doing, but we want to get home, we want to see our family, and you know, it's traumatic when people are dealing with having to help and assist and see horrific injuries as well. So I hope you get something from it. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully we'll be on the water and we'll be doing some fishing. All right, so I also forgot to mention two things that I want to actually mention as well. Fire extinguishers, make sure they're accessible where anyone can get them, and make sure that they're in date, and the pressure, you get the little pressure gauge, make sure that's in the green zone. Also flares, so flares have to be in date. I think they last 3 years, so check your flares, keep them dry in a dry container, and also make sure everyone knows how to use them, because I bet there's plenty of people out there that don't know how to actually use them, and the last thing you want to do is get to an emergency situation and be looking at a flare going, what am I meant to do? So make sure everyone on the boat, on the vessel, wherever you are, just gets to know how to use the extinguisher, flares, EPIRB, everything. I teach my boy, when he was young, we used to go bass fishing in the boat on impoundments. I showed him how to use the outboard, start it up, put it in gear, get us to safety if something happened to me and I couldn't use the actual outboard. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Tight line.